Sunday is the Michigan Football Report Overreaction Sunday. Just kind of taking a look at all the things, the media, the fans, the opponents, the haters, and you, the Michigan Football Report audience, the best looking, smartest audience in all of YouTube. Thinks about yesterday's win over Penn State. This show is presented by Manscape. Make sure you're getting 20% off and free shipping over at manscape.com. by using promo code GOBLUE. I got the Lawnmower 5.0. I'll tell you about later in the show. Absolutely game-changing, remarkable product. The best product, frankly, in the entire male grooming game. Wolverines won yesterday, 24-15. Frankly, for me, one of the more satisfying victories in recent college football history, in Michigan football history, for me as a fan, right? When you only have to throw the ball 8 times, 0 times in the second half. Your quarterback, 60 yards, but you still dominate a top 10 team in their place in November in the 10th game of the season. I mean, it just feels great. I think you kind of you do it without your head coach. You just feel rejuvenated. Heading down the road again next week against Maryland. And then in 13 days facing Ohio State, this team came together yesterday. Sharon Moore poured out the emotions, just like young Harbaugh, Jack, and I did. We embraced each other. We showed the love. Sharon Moore showed the love to the player, and Jim Harbaugh is going to show the love to his players this week, whether or not he is in the building against Maryland on Saturday on the road in what will be Michigan's 11th game of the year. Their little preamble to the Ohio State game. Let's get into the overreactions, though. Number one overreaction, and let's just call it what it is. Michigan needs to leave the Big Ten. I believe in my heart of hearts that Tony Petitti, whatever you want to call him, the Big Ten commissioner, was trying to play both sides. He wanted to feel like he was doing right by the Big Ten coaches and athletic directors and doing right by the media and not succumbing to social media mobs, not getting canceled by, I'm going to suspend Michigan. Michigan, you're suspended, but because we can't suspend a whole school, Jim Harbaugh, you take the fall for it. Okay? And then you're going to go to court. You're going to get overturned. Harbaugh will be on the field. All will be well. From a Big Ten commissioner perspective, I can say to those other 13 teams, hey, we suspended him, but the courts, to Michigan, hey, you didn't actually miss any games, so no harm, no foul. It is all good. But now that Harbaugh's had to miss a game, now that Jim Harbaugh was able to make the trip, that this Big Ten commissioner issued this 3-game suspension, while Michigan was in the air and dropping down into State College, into Happy Valley, and the fact that that weasel scumbag loser who was just so terrible on TV, Pete Thamel, was the first one to break it, and that Michigan football players and coaches and regents and the school president, nobody heard about it from the Big Ten directly. They didn't get a call and say, hey, here's the deal. They heard about it on Twitter. They heard about it probably from this show on YouTube as we put out a video minutes after it happened on Friday. Absolutely shameful. And Michigan and Ohio State have played ball with the Big Ten for decades, right? For generations, right? You go back to the 60s, 70s, whatever. Then you had Penn State in the 90s. We're still going to share revenue equally, even though it now is not a big 2, it's a big 3. Then you look into the 2000s, 2010s, this new era of college football as conferences are getting realigned and Texas is trying to force their way into the Pac-10 and then Pac-12  10 years ago, then to the SEC. In between there, they've taken a bigger stake of the Big 12 conference's TV revenue. Michigan should play hardball with the Big Ten. Whether it is, hey, Big Ten with 18 teams next year, how about Michigan gets 20% of the revenue? Everybody else can share the other 80%. Or Michigan gets 20%, Ohio State gets 20%. Everybody else, those 16 teams, you could share the other 60%. Quit playing nice guy with this conference that turned their back on you when you had the biggest game of your season in a potential national championship run, the best team the Big Ten has seen in a decade. You're going to suspend the coach based on social media mobs and grainy pictures of Connor Stallions. I think Warde Manuel said it best. You're doing it to succumb to media with no evidence, no due process, nothing that sticks to the letter of the law of the agreement of the 14 teams in this conference, the partners that make up the Big Ten Conference. Leave the Big Ten. And if you don't leave the Big Ten, either to go independent, there's 3 options. Go independent, grab Notre Dame, and go to the ACC, maybe grab Notre Dame, grab USC and UCLA. add with Stanford Cal, make a full nation conference with the ACC, or call up Texas, call up Oklahoma, call up a couple other teams, and create Penn State even, and create a national conference that leaves Ohio State out of it, that leaves the entire Big Ten out of it, and that makes Michigan not to use this term, just flippantly, makes Michigan the granddaddy of all of college football. Guys, Michigan won 24-15 yesterday. I was so pumped about that game. The headbutt this time one more time. Man, that felt good. It's like a little little excitement to get my Sunday rolling. Give me your one overreaction from yesterday's win against Penn State. I mean, I don't even know if I have one at this point. My just reaction, my one word to just describe the game yesterday is satisfying. It was so satisfying to not let the haters and the naysayers just say, "Oh, Connor signs this, Michigan this, etc., cheaters." Yeah. Well, what are you gonna say now, right, Jack? It's like Kanye said back in the day. It's like they wonder what Michigan was gonna say what the haters were gonna say if Michigan didn't beat Penn State. I guess we'll never know. Guys, I do want to tell you about the Michigan Football Report sponsor, and that is Manscape with the best product I've actually ever used in the history of male grooming, and that is the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Groin and body hair trimmer with an advanced dual head system and skin-safe blades. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is the next-gen groin groomer that'll give you the power to trim, shave, and shape your pubes to your liking. It's got 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, a skin-safe trimmer blade, a foil blade. It's waterproof. You've got one fixed length comb that goes up to 1.4 millimeters, another one that goes up to 2.12 millimeters. It is USB-C charging adaptable. You can take it in the shower. It has a 60-minute runtime lithium-ion battery, and it is the best product you can get on the market today for trimming up down below. If you're about to get intimate with the person in your life, let me just tell you, you need to go to Manscaped. My entire bathroom is filled with Manscaped products. I've got the shampoo conditioner. I've got the deodorant. I've got the crapper, right? Goes down below. I have got all of the Manscaped products, including the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, which they sent me about a month ago. I was one of the first people to try it. Get yourself the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra and all of Manscaped's amazing male grooming products. It's holiday season. Get some great stocking stuffers. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code GoBlue, 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped is the official partner of the Michigan Football Report. We love them. We use them. Recommend that you do too. And hell, you know what? You're going to need them. Once Michigan wins the national championship, you are going to be in the mood to get down, and you want to make sure everything is looking good with Manscaped. Keep it going there. Manscaped.com. Use promo code GoBlue. Number 2, Overreaction Sunday is the team. What a team victory from this program. You saw the emotion from Sherrone Moore, right? And I turned to Jack. We locked eyes. We embraced each other. Young Harbaugh and old Yoder. It was like just poetry in football. This team had emotions. You saw it from Sherrone Moore. You saw it from Blake Corum. You saw it from J.J. McCarthy. The post-game interviews, the press conferences, everything we put on social media. I mean, this victory yesterday just meant something. It meant something because if you're a Michigan fan, you've been going out to the grocery store, to work, your friends on social media. I mean, my text messages have not stopped the last 2 or 3 weeks. So everyone's just trying to take a shot, trying to get their little, their dig in. Everyone's just talking trash. Harbaugh this, Connor Steins that. And I'll admit, some of it's funny. Some of it is funny. But this victory yesterday just kind of proves to me that everything I've rooted for as a fan and everything I've talked about here in the show as a member of, the entertainment portion of the Michigan football program has been for real. And I do think that this team is national championship caliber, and nothing that comes out going forward is going to make me think any differently about the last 2 seasons or about what this team accomplishes going forward. As Michigan has a Maryland football team that has really looked like crap the last month, coming up on Saturday in Maryland, right, in College Park. Let me know what your score predictions are, because this Maryland team has been reeling for weeks, and I think Michigan's going to go in there with a bad attitude, Jim Harbaugh or not, and they are going to dominate. instant one without really doing any analysis of the game right now, I'm going 42-7 Michigan. Let me know your score predictions down in the comments. You see that D? You see that D from Penn State? Penn State, they may have been trimming up with some Manscape down below because they have some legit D. This team held Michigan to a season low 287 yards on offense. J.J. McCarthy only threw for 60 yards, and Michigan really had to change things up, right? 6 offensive linemen, 7 offensive linemen. Not a single pass in the second half for this team, with a Heisman Trophy leading or second or third in the Heisman Trophy, a top 3 candidate, to not throw a pass in the second half, I think should be 2 things. Number one, Sherrone Moore, head coach for this game, went back to his basics. Right? He's the offensive line coach. He relied on his top 6 and 7 offensive line, and a run game that has disappointed all year showed up when it absolutely needed to, and Michigan got the victory, including a touchdown from Blake Corum to seal the game, put Michigan by a couple scores, and really put things out of hand for Penn State with just a few minutes to go. This Penn State defense, though, is legitimate. It's one of the best defenses Michigan's placed in probably this 3-year run of 2021, 22, and 23. So give some credit to Penn State, but even give more credit to Sherrone Moore, Blake Corum, offensive line, Diamond Edwards, J.J. McCarthy, for just finding where you could execute against this team, what you could be successful at. That was the run game yesterday. No pass in the second half. 29 straight runs to end the game for Michigan. Reminded me of LeBron against the Detroit Pistons back in 2007 with him scoring like 25 straight points or 25 straight shots, whatever it was. We are getting this close, baby. Let's hit 29,000 subscribers today. Hit that subscribe button if you're behind this team. If you want more Michigan football content, we're the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Daily videos on this program. Send that link to a friend if you're enjoying what you're seeing today. And if you don't want to support the show and you want to get back at us, subscribe today and unsubscribe come January, February. Really stick it to us, but maybe help us out a little bit now as Michigan is fighting against every single person around the entire world of college football. How about this rumor right here, Jack? How about this one coming up? A rumor started by one of the smartest people I've ever heard of that's regarding Michigan football, so I thought I'd bring it up. I started this rumor because I looked at the schedule, right? I said, well, I'm heading to the game on Saturday. I wonder if the Baltimore Ravens are playing. Maybe I'll stick around on Sunday, go to the Ravens game. The Ravens play on Thursday night football. Well, who's been on the sidelines for the last couple of times Michigan went to Maryland to play a game? Well, John Harbaugh always comes and plays on the sidelines, and it just so happens that he's not going to have a game the next day. So what would be the craziest thing that could happen here with the Harbaugh brothers, right? Jack Harbaugh, their dad, was a member of the Michigan football coaching staff those first 3 games this year. So clearly it's not something that's crazy. What if Jim doesn't get this temporary restraining order on Friday? What if he makes the trip to Maryland on Friday with the rest of the Michigan football team? Here's on later in the day, hey, they've denied it. You're not coaching tomorrow for the 2nd straight week. What if he went to his brother and said, hey, John, older brother by about 13 months, I know you just coached and you beat the Bengals a couple days ago, right? What if he said, last couple times we've come to Maryland, you've stood in the sidelines as kind of like an official, unofficial, brother, coach, etc. Why don't you just be the 10th coach for today? I can't coach. Is there any harm? Is there any rules against in the NFL? From what I looked up just briefly on Saturday night this morning, there's no rule that prohibits it. Harbaugh would probably have to get approval from the Ravens if they win on Thursday. Look, it's not the craziest thing. I know you're probably saying, shut up, Yoder, stupid. It's not the craziest thing to think about, but whatever happens here, I'm saying this. I'm saying free Harbaugh. Light up the comments, baby. We did 2nd or 3rd most comments in the history of this show on our video on Friday. It was absolutely stunning how many comments we had. Let's try and get out there, to that number again. Let's get like 2,000 comments. So comment free Harbaugh as many times as you want because it is Michigan against the world, and I just can't stand these fan bases. Georgia's in there now on Saturday night. And Ohio State, Ohio State fans, 13 more days, you're going to get yours. So Michigan fans, type free Harbaugh. Let's make sure that we hold our own. This is our territory on YouTube. Don't let the other fan bases take it over with their cheaters and all this other BS they've been putting in there for the last 3 weeks. I said Penn State's got some good D. Michigan has the best D. And I'll tell you what, I was given the D last night. defense, right? I was given the defense thanks to Manscape. Michigan's got the best defense in the history of the Big Ten. This is a better defense than 1997. I know they had Charles Woodson. I know what we all think about those of us who have been around since the 90s, who weren't, little kids back then, who were teenagers or just getting started with Michigan football, or adults, or even hell, you were in your 40s, 50s, 60s in the 90s, and you're still watching today. I know what the 97 team meant to Michigan. I went to like 7 games that season. I understand everything about that 97 Michigan defense, but in my opinion, right now, this Michigan football defense in 2023 is the best defense in the history of the Big Ten, the best defense in the history of this program. There's nothing you're going to do to convince me about it unless Ohio State comes in and just drops 60 points on Michigan and wins that game in 13 days. Then I'll change my opinion. But as I stand here with Will Johnson and Mikey Sainterstall and Rayshon Trap Money Betty, okay, Mason Graham, Chris Jenkins, Junior Colson, Michael Barrett, Rod Moore, Makari Page, as you see how many of these players are making a difference, Derek Moore, all right, Ernest Hausman, this is the best defense in the history of the Big Ten. I'm not changing my opinion. I love this defense. This team is amazing. This has been one of the most memorable seasons of my lifetime, if not the most memorable. I cannot wait to see this team back in the field on Saturday, hopefully with a Harbaugh on the field as their head coach, Jim or John, and then 13 days from now, Michigan taking down Ohio State in one of the most destructive ways that we have ever seen in the history of the game. Can't wait to get back on the screen with you guys coming up on Monday. Jack and I will be back with another Michigan football report. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Till then, go Blue.